What's up, folks? Mitsu Vagrant here. I'm gonna do a tier list. Yeah, why not?
Hey guys, Mitsu from the future here. Just wanted to quickly apologize for the quality of the audio in this video. I apparently don't know how to speak into a microphone effectively to save my life. So I hope you can look past that and still enjoy the video. I would really appreciate it. If you can, if you cannot, I understand. I just didn't want to have to record this again, another 2-hour video of me doing a tier list. So again, sorry for the audio quality. I will learn how to speak into a microphone better from now on.
I just put out my Street Fighter video about the new news that came out, so if you guys saw that, haven't seen that, go check that out. I'd really appreciate it. I figured I'd do a tier list on just all of the Street Fighter characters in existence. I guess this one is particularly the ones that have been playable in any Street Fighter game. It looks like it's got all the way up till the characters that were just revealed, including JP, Marisa, Manon, and DJ. Without the new DJ art, but oh well. Basically, what this tier list is going to be is just kind of like what my thoughts are on them, if I kind of like them or love them or hate them, and that can be on for any reason whatsoever. Their design, their personality, how they play. It's just kind of going to be my opinion. Let's just go on over here. Ryu. Ryu is the poster child of Street Fighter, as most folks probably know already. And I like Ryu. I actually used to just think he was kind of mid because of his personality is, you know, that stoic, just warrior, I just live for the fight kind of character. You know, I've kind of gone up and down on him throughout the years. At this point, I would say that I like Ryu. He is, he's fine. He's not the coolest character, but he's not the dumbest character in Street Fighter's history. So he's just pretty good. He's pretty cool. Ken is actually, I would say, the opposite of how I've kind of gone with him throughout the years. When I was younger, I always liked Ken more than Ryu. But as time has gone on, I don't really like him that much as Ryu, as a character. I would still, let's say, on the list here, I don't know if I would say, I don't hate Ken. I don't think he's dumb, and I definitely don't really love him at this point in my life. I don't know if I like him or I just think he's all right. I think I could say I like Ken as well. Just I like Ryu more, and I'm actually going to try and rank these in order too, on each list, on each tier. Chun-Li. I've never been a Chun-Li fan at all, to be honest with you, unfortunately. I don't hate her. Her iconography is undeniable, though. I would say at this point, I just think Chun-Li is okay as a character. I do believe that she should never be in a Street Fighter game, just like Capcom does. She is just like Ryu is the poster child, he's the male poster child, and I would say Chun-Li is the female poster child for Street Fighter, so they should always be there. But I don't really have too strong feelings on her. Cammy is next, and I would say the same thing. Sorry, but I never really found Cammy that interesting. I mean, her story and what happened to her with Bison and being under his control, yeah, that gives her more depth, of course, but just on my personal opinion of her, again, she's not that. I just don't like her that much. Again, I would probably just say Cammy is just okay, but I would again probably put her underneath Chun-Li as well. Both of them are just they're kind of like mid for me, just for me, which I guess makes sense why they're in the middle tier. Guile. Let's see, Guile. How do I feel about Guile? I'm liking Guile the older he gets. I liked his design that they're using here for the Street Fighter V. His default costume, I do like that Guile, a little bit older Guile, and I really like the Street Fighter VI Guile and his design with the facial hair and all that. I'm starting to like Guile a lot more as a character. I would probably say, now, here's the problem. We're not using the most up-to-date versions of these characters, like from Street Fighter VI and their design. taking that and all his past iterations into consideration, I would probably put him currently at the top of B tier as in just okay. Gal's cool. He's not remarkable to me. That's totally fine if you think he's awesome, because he does have cool things about him. But again, like Chun-Li and Cammy, just kind of mid for me personally. M. Bison. I fucking hate M. Bison. It's kind of like with Ryu throughout the series with his iconography. Again, kind of undeniable. He's very iconic for the Street Fighter series, but he's the stupidest character in this game. When you're talking about a character that's, and I know this is just the way I'm taking the character. He's so one note. He's so bland. He's just evil dictator wants to rule the world, and for me, that's stupid. I kind of hate it. I kind of hate him. I kind of hate how there's nothing to M. Bison other than him just being an evil guy. So I hate M. Bison. He's going right into the bottom tier, and he will stay there for the rest of his life. I'm finally glad he's dead, hopefully, in Street Fighter 6, and I hope he stays that way. I hope he's just going to be rotting in the ground for the rest of eternity. I hate M. Bison. Don't at me. Dhalsim. I don't really like Dhalsim that much. Again, as the games have gone on, well, again, we don't know what his story is in Street Fighter 6, but as the games have gone on, he just kind of hasn't changed that much. I don't really like him at all. I don't even know if I'd say he's, as a character, he's fine. He's the least fine out of everybody so far. I wouldn't call him dumb for sure, especially because most of the World Warriors I wouldn't call dumb. I would probably put Dhalsim right now currently in the bottom B tier. He's pretty meh for me as well. Zangief is kind of in the same boat. A lot of the World Warriors, as you're finding out, are not that cool to me. They're not that interesting. It's weird as it sounds. I think, even as you can currently see on the tier, Ryu is kind of just the most interesting, and that's probably because he's kind of like got this main character status to him that, you know, just kind of goes with him wherever he goes. And now in Street Fighter 6, that he's becoming more of like a master that people would learn from, like, you know, maybe Sakura or Luke maybe might be like a disciple. I don't know. We don't know where the story for Street Fighter 6 is going, but I am sitting here talking about Ryu, and we're on Zangief right now. The Zangief, I don't love him. I don't like him. I don't hate him. But I don't really like him. I might change this, but I'm gonna put Zangief currently, and he's dumb. Yes, he might be the original grappler character, but I like all the other grapplers more than him, to be honest, for the most part. Even Hakan, I feel, has a little bit. Well, never mind. Zangief's more interesting than Hakan. But let's move on. Vega over the years again has not changed. My opinion on him has not changed that much. He hasn't changed that much. I don't really consider him dumb. I don't really hate him all that much either. I definitely did hate, like, I do like his Street Fighter V design the most out of all the designs that they've given him, for sure. Overall, Vega. He might be one I have to kind of shift around later on. I'm gonna put him dumb more than Zangief, though. I like Vega more than Zangief. Yeah, just again, not that interesting. Not much has been done with him. I like his Street Fighter V design the most, but other than that, Vega has not really changed all that much, and my opinion of him hasn't really changed all that much. Balrog, I kind of don't like Balrog at all. He's just the super angry testosterone field, I'm gonna beat the crap out of you fighter, and he just kind of like Vega and Bison, he has not changed much over the years, other than when he took Ed in at the end of Street Fighter 4, beginning of Street Fighter 5. That gave him a little bit of change there, but again, I don't think it was enough to kind of change Balrog's opinion in my own mind. So He's kind of dumb still. But you know what? Yeah, I'll probably put him at the bottom of dumb tier. Sagat. Sagat is one character I kind of, as time has gone on, I've kind of liked him more, especially when characters change. When it comes to fiction or games or movies, you give me an interesting character that goes through changes or it gets more development, I will probably like them more than other characters, unless we're talking about characters that are basically just tropes or archetypes. If I kind of like that trope or archetype, I might like the character. Sagat is a character that was a villain, is kind of like, I wouldn't necessarily say anti-hero, but he's not necessarily a villain anymore. So I kind of like him a little bit more than I used to, but I don't really like him that much, again, as a character. A lot of Street Fighter 2 characters are just not interesting to me. I would put Sagat currently here. You know what? No. I'll put him at top of B tier. Because of the development he's gotten in Street Fighter 5. And just whatever the heck's going on with him now in the story. I don't know. But I think the development that he got in Street Fighter 5 is going to put him up in the top of B tier there. Blanca. Do I hate Blanca, or are they just dumb? I kind of hate Blanca. I don't hate him as much as Bison, but I kind of hate Blanca. I don't really have much reason why. I just don't have any interest in the character, you know, as a character that much at all. Don't really like Blanca, and I really don't have much more to say. Just don't think highly of him. E Honda. I like that there's a sumo character. I just wish they were more interesting than E Honda. I kind of think E Honda's a little dumb, but I don't hate him I don't think he's as dumb as Zangief. So I'll probably put him right there. That feels pretty comfortable for me. Okay, we have our first S tier. I'm sorry that I'm an unoriginal idiot. I don't care. This is an example of a character archetype or character personality that I just like. The strong, demonic guy who is really strong and beats the crap out of things because he's strong is what Akuma is, and I like that trope. Akuma is, I can easily say, in my top 5 favorite fictional characters throughout video game history. Akuma is in my top 5. I just like Akuma because he's a badass. I just like him because he's a badass. That's it. I'll say it again. Akuma's a badass, and I just like him because he's a badass. DJ. I'm kind of glad that DJ is getting love back now in Street Fighter 6, but again, he's a character that I'd really not. He was introduced in Street Fighter 2, that series. Don't really care for DJ that much, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to. I don't hate DJ, but I don't really like him at all either. He's gonna definitely be in C tier. Yeah, the Bruce Lee trope thing is just cool because Bruce Lee is cool. Okay, I mean that's all there is to it. I kind of like Fei Long. He's pretty cool. I think I will probably put Fei Long right here. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. Bruce Lee's cool. So you make a character that's based on Bruce Lee, how is it not cool? So, there you go. T-Hawk. I kind of like T-Hawk more than Zangief. Just because I feel there's... it probably doesn't make any sense, but I feel he's more unique than Zangief. So I'm going to put T-Hawk. Let's see, where does T-Hawk fall for me? I would probably say T-Hawk is okay. He's just okay. I'm more okay than Dawson. That's where I would put T-Hawk. Violent Ken. I don't really like these what-if characters all that much. Evil Ryu's alright. Violent Ken I really have not that much history with, to be honest with you. If they kind of make sense, or there might be like a story reason they kind of might end up this way, even if it is like a what-if scenario. I don't know the reason for Violent Ken, but I don't know like the history and the lore surrounding him. Based upon my own knowledge of what I perceive Violent Ken to be, it's just Ken who for some reason became violent, and I don't know the reasons behind that because I don't know. He's only been in what, 1 or 2 games. I don't really like Violent Ken that much. He's kind of dumb. Evil Ryu is a little better. I would probably think I think Evil Ryu is okay. Street Fighter 4 Evil Ryu was pretty interesting. Again, I don't know if we have concrete reasons as to why Ryu became evil, or potentially like the what if scenario about why he became that way. Yeah, I think he's okay living right there. Whatever, they're what if characters. They're non-canon in my eyes, so who cares? Adon is a shithead. I think that's what his personality is supposed to be. He's an asshole, and he's just out for himself, and he wants to be the victor. I think plenty of people would kind of write him off as being a crappy character just because of that, because he doesn't have much more motivations besides that. But despite that fact, I kind of like Adon. I'm going to put him at the bottom of A tier. Yeah, again, he's kind of one note like Bison. What's more believable? An evil dictator who wants to rule the world, or an asshole who just doesn't give a shit about anybody else? That's more realistic. So I kind of like that trope a little bit more than just a dumb evil villain guy. Birdie, never really liked Birdie that much. I don't even. I have such non-feelings about Birdie as a character. I can't even think of what to say about him. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I don't like him. Birdie's kind of dumb, to be honest with you. But how dumb is he? He is probably... Birdie is probably... I kind of like him more than Zangief, to be honest with you. We'll put him there. Nash. Now, this is a... I don't know if I'd call it a glow-up, since he's like a zombie. Nash, the changes they made for Street Fighter V is pretty cool, actually. He was dead. He did get revived thanks to Illuminati magic. But yeah, I think I kind of like what they did with Nash and where they took him. I'm assuming at the end of Street Fighter V he kind of just gets killed or kind of dissipates. I don't know. Did we ever see what happened to Nash? It's been so long since I played cinematic story for Street Fighter V. I have no idea. I kind of like Nash in his current state. He was kind of mid, back in the Alpha series. He just kind of like this cool friend to Guile. I like him more than Guile for sure. But I kind of like what they did with Nash. I kind of like his redesign. His zombie face. He's basically a zombie. Yeah, I like where Nash went in Street Fighter V, and for that reason, I'm gonna put Nash right here, and I like them, but I'm gonna put him. I actually might put him right here, right under Ryu. I don't use Nash just because. Just another quick note. I don't know if I know I didn't say this at all. I don't use most of these characters in the games. This is just my opinion on them as a character. I've used Nash maybe 3-4 times in Street Fighter V. So it's most of my opinion is not based on my usage of them. Eagle is underutilized. I would like them to do more with Eagle, to be honest with you. Yeah. There's not a lot to say about him, to be honest with you. He just kind of exudes this kind of energy to him that makes me think he's kind of interesting. He's kind of cool, but he again, he's only been in 2 games, the Street Fighter 1, which you can almost say there was nothing to him in that game, because there was nothing to much to that game at all. And then he was in Street Fighter Alpha 3, which gave him a little bit more personality. I kind of like Eagle. I would probably put him above Adon here, and I like them. Maki, I really like Maki. She's when it comes to all the Bushin Ryu characters that they've had throughout Street Fighter and stuff like that, we've got her, we've got Guy, Zeku, and now we have Kimberly. She's probably my favorite Bushin Ryu character. I think she's kind of cool. In fact, I would probably put her at the top of A tier right now. Just on aesthetics, just on the very little information we have of the character. It doesn't matter. I like her a lot as a character, and I would like them to see her come back at some point. Because we have Kimberly in Street Fighter 6, I have a feeling we're not going to see her in Street Fighter 6. But oh well. Gen, I kind of hate Gen, to be honest with you. Not as much as Bison. Bison's at the very bottom and will stay there. But yeah, I would say I like Blanc a little bit better than Gen. I don't really have much to say about Gen. I just never thought he was interesting. Just this old master, evil dude. Whatever, I don't care. He's just an old dude in purple to me. Whatever, Gen, whatever. Guy's pretty cool as well, actually. I still like Maki more than Guy. But Guy as this urban kind of ninja character, Bushin Ryu, is cool, and I would probably put him. I'll put him above Nash actually. But as a character design and just his aesthetic, his stoicism, I kind of think it's cool. I kind of like him. Ingrid. Here's a character that people have strong opinions of. Whether she's canon or not, I don't care. Whether she is the source of the psycho power Bison uses or not, I don't really care all that much. Her design's all right. It might be better to say it doesn't really bother me that she could be the source of Bison's psycho power, because just saying that doesn't really explain, how that is. Ingrid's the source of Bison's psycho power. Okay, why? Why is that? I'm sure they could make it so that it's not so dumb or not so something that people would dislike or hate if they kind of expanded upon that idea. So I think Ingrid just kind of okay as she is where she is right now. I'd probably put her right here. There's just not much to her. The dolls all themselves are, they're not that interesting to me. They're all right as a unit. As individuals, I don't really have that strong of opinions, but as a unit, the dolls themselves they're okay. Which is probably where I would probably put both Julie and Junie. I'm just going to go ahead and put both of them right there. They're just all right. They're neither offensive nor interesting to me. Karine. It took such a long time for us to get Karine back in Street Fighter V. I liked Karine a lot. I still do, despite the fact that I suck at using her. I don't have the fundamentals to use her well, unfortunately. So she goes in S tier as well. I love Karine. Her rivalry with Sakura, I can find better reasons that I like to say that I love Karine, but I just love Karine because of her design, her personality, and that's really all I can say. She's cool. I like her. Armika. This was a character that I didn't really have that much opinions on. My fiance actually really loves Armika, and I don't know, kind of by proxy, I've kind of started to like her a little bit more, just because that go-getter kind of headstrong. She's here for it. She's gonna put on a show and she's gonna fight you. Armika is kind of cool, and I kind of like her. Whereas I would probably have put her just as okay. I kind of like her now, and I would probably put her pretty high actually. Probably above Guy, to be honest with you. Rolento, again, a character that doesn't have much, in my opinion, going for him. He's just a Mad Gear grunt. Wants something to do with wanting to make a paradise, whatever. That's not enough of a character like story beat behind you there, sir. I'm sorry. Rolento is. I don't really think. I like the design of Rolento, and I feel like he could be so much more could be done with him. But as of right now, there's just not a lot to him, personally. He's kind of okay. I'd probably put him right here, actually, yeah. Sakura. Sakura is a character that everybody loves. In fact, I think she is the most beloved Street Fighter character, based on that poll they did a few years ago. Something like that. I like Sakura, but I don't like her as much as everybody else. She's just kind of fine for me. Sakura is Sakura, and everybody loves her. I think she's pretty neat, but that's about all I really have to say about Sakura. I would probably put her somewhere around there. That seems right. Now we have my Street Fighter 4 main. Before he became my main, and I learned about the FGC as a whole. I feel like Cody is a character I probably would have never looked at twice. But when I played him in Street Fighter 4 and it kind of clicked with me, and he became my main, I kind of started to like him a little bit more. I actually probably wouldn't put him in S tier as a character. You know what? No, I take that back. I'm going to put him in S tier. And the reason being, not only do I have that history with him, as him being my main for Street Fighter 4, but I really like what they've done with him in Street Fighter 5, that he's now out of prison and he's the mayor of Metro City. I'm curious to see if he's going to come back and be that in Street Fighter 6 as well. Yeah, Cody's pretty cool, but just because of that connection I have with him now, I would probably put him in S. I kind of love Cody. He's pretty cool. Dan is Dan. Dan is great just because of the ridiculousness associated with Dan, and I kind of like him just on that fact alone. just this comic relief in a series where there's not a whole lot of that silliness to go around. I kind of like Dan just because of that. I think I'd probably put him right here. Rose is very mid to me. I don't have really strong feelings about Rose one way or the other. She's okay. She's probably around here for me. Sodom or Sodom, I don't know. When I was a kid, I thought it was pronounced Saddam, like the guy that was over in that other country. But Sodom, again, he's like a blank slate almost. I would actually like to see them do more with Sodom, but right now he's kind of dumb. I kind of like his visual design, but there's really nothing else that I can say positively about him. I'd probably put him kind of over here in the they're dumb category. Ibuki. Ibuki's a character that I've been intrigued for ever since I kind of saw her in Street Fighter 3. Not a character that I can play, unfortunately. God no, I can't play Ibuki. I've got too much brain power that I don't have. I have a tiny brain. I don't know why I would say that I was kind of intrigued by Ibuki, but just kind of like it probably comes from I'm intrigued by a lot of the Street Fighter 3 characters because that was a game series that kind of passed me by, as it did, I'm sure, with a lot of people. So I kind of like Ibuki. I would never use her, but I do kind of like Ibuki as a character. She kind of got less interesting in 5, unfortunately, to be honest, because she just became this dumb little schoolgirl that fawns over guys, and that's just not that interesting. But I think they could do something more interesting with her as a character. She design-wise and stuff, though, she's kind of cool. I do kind of like Ibuki. Here, I'd probably put her right here. No, you know what? I have more interest in Eagle than I do Ibuki. Alex, poor Alex. Always being vouched for to come to the next Street Fighter game, and always being low tier. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say about Alex either. He's just this dude who fights, and he's the protagonist of Street Fighter 3. But other than that, I don't have that much love for Alex. He's all right. I'd put him right here, to be honest with you. I have more interest in Ingrid than I do Alex. Dudley. Here's a character that's sick. I love Dudley. Dudley is awesome. Dudley is an S tier character, design-wise, personality-wise. I tried him a little bit in Super Street Fighter 4. Didn't really click with me, but just on a character archetype, this gentleman boxer kind of guy, and honestly would probably put him right here. Dudley is cool. He's cool. Elena is actually, I'm sure this is kind of like a divisive opinion as well. I think Elena is pretty cool. She is hated in the Street Fighter 4 era of games for being absolutely broken and pain in the ass to fight against, but design-wise and just kind of character personality, I do really like Elena. I don't think I would put her in S tier, but I would probably put her around here in A tier. I really like Elena as a character. Gil is the boss of the Street Fighter 3 series, and as time has gone on, he's actually kind of gotten more interesting to me. No, I kind of like Gil as a character. He's got this boss status about him, and how he was just a strong, difficult opponent to fight. And there's not much to his motivation. He just wants to create an ideal world, I guess, with the Illuminati or whatever. Yeah, Gil's kind of neat. But there's just not much there personality-wise. The design, though, is pretty good. Super Saiyan blonde hair and the vision blue and red he's got going on. I like Gil. He's pretty cool. I'd probably put him above Adon. Hugo is the grappler character that I like as a character. I like if you've got a character with history, especially if he comes from other games or other series, like Hugo he's from Final Fight, just like Cody is. The more fleshed out they are throughout a series or a company's repertoire of games, that kind of thing. What I'm trying to say essentially is that I like that he's in one series. He's also in another series, Final Fight and Street Fighter. Design-wise, he's okay. I don't really like the design that much, but the history he has there, just like with Cody, I do think that's cool and gives gives points to the character in my book. Despite all the positive stuff I just said, I don't think I'd say I like Hugo. As a character, I like what he represents. You know, how he's a character that's kind of persisted through Capcom's games throughout history, just like Cody has. But I don't really like him all that much, although I would probably put him pretty high in the they're okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm a Makoto stan. I like my tomboy girls. She's going to go right up here. She only doesn't beat Akuma because Akuma's a badass and badasses are badass. But she's a badass tomboy, which is almost just as cool, or if not cooler. But Akuma's got a little bit more history with me. Otherwise, Makoto would just be at the very top. Makoto's amazing. I love her. I mean, there's not a lot of personality there. We don't have a lot of motivations that we know from her stories, other than that she just wants to promote her dojo. I don't give a shit. You can hate me for putting characters that I just said. Like I just said, I like Hugo. I like the history he has and stuff like that. But I just put him in okay. And I just said that Makoto doesn't have a lot going for her story-wise, but I think she's awesome and I love her. And shut up. She goes in S tier. Necro. When it comes to the stretchy limb characters, I think Necro's cooler than Dhalsim, but I still don't care for him all that much. In fact, I'm gonna put him right above Dhalsim. Remy, just some French emo guy, right? I mean, I'm sure there's more to Remy. There's not. He's only been in one game. He's only been in the Street Fighter 3 series. He's a character that I think deserves to come back in some form. Yeah, I think Remy he has some intrigue, but there's just not a lot there to him right now. And I think he deserves to have some more stuff, kind of done with him. So I would say Remy is okay. I kind of like him more than Guile, more than Hugo. I do think I kind of like him more than Hugo. Sean is my Street Fighter 3 Third Strike main. I always seem to play low-tier characters for some reason. I don't know why. But actually, I do like Sean, since I had that connection with him because he's my main. I kind of like him a little bit more. That gives more points to me for that. I don't think I'd put him in S tier, but I would put him very high. Actually, I would probably put him at the top of A tier. Sean's cool. He deserves to come back in 6th in some form or fashion. I liked seeing him in Street Fighter 5, even though he really doesn't do much of anything. Q is cool, and the fact that he's got connections with another character in the series, and we still don't know everything about them. I know that's the point. That's the point of characters like Q and G, is the mystery. I don't believe that we're ever going to understand fully who Q is or who G is, the connections they share, because the mystery is much more interesting than we could probably ever get. Whatever answer we could ever get for them. Q is cool. On a personal level, I don't really like him a whole lot, but I do like. But especially before G was introduced, I would say I didn't like him a whole lot. But now that G has been introduced, I kind of like Q more because of that connection and stuff like that. I would say that I like Q a little bit. No, I'll put him right here, above Gil. Since we're already talking about it, let's talk about G as well. G is the cooler, more interesting 100% version of Q and he was a knockout character. He is probably the coolest newcomer to be introduced in Street Fighter V, because he has so much intrigue and mystery, of course, just like Q does. And again, because they have that connection, that just makes it more intriguing. He's teeming with personality. I love G. I love his theme song in Street Fighter V. G is amazing. G is S tier, and I'm going to put him right here above Karin. Under my wife and my best friend. Oro is like what, 130 years old or something like that. He's kind of cool actually. I do like Oro. The old Hermit Master character isn't super interesting to me, but I think Oro pulls it off better than somebody like Master Roshi from the Dragon Ball series would. That's about all I can say about Oro. He's an interesting character. He's interesting enough. I think I'd put him there. 12. You might like 12, and that's okay. You're allowed to like who you like. He's just something, just some weapon developed by somebody to fight other people. I don't really like 12 at all. He's just a thing. I don't like him. He's dumb. I don't like 12. I kind of hate 12, to be honest with you. Just so uninteresting. Him and 11 from Street Fighter V. In fact, I'm gonna put 11 right here. I kind of like 11's design more than 12, so I'm gonna put him above 12. They're more of an idea than a character, and there's just not much there. I kind of hate that. Kind of hate that they exist when they could have been a more interesting character. Urien is Gil's brother, and I like him more than Gil. I like the head of an evil corporation kind of character, just kind of like going all out on that kind of idea. Urien is that dialed up to 11, but he's an interesting and unique design. I mean, that's kind of just all I really can say. That kind of iconography of that kind of character, I think Urien kind of pulls off kind of good. He's just angry and rude and mean all the time, and I just kind of like that style, kind of like that execution that they did for Urien. I kind of really like Urien, although I've never really used him at all in 5 or 3. But as a character, Urien is actually kind of cool. I would probably put him. I actually would probably put him a little bit above Ryu. He's a character I would not be surprised to see come back in the future, and I think deserves it. I think he has enough fan following for it to happen. The twins we have here next, Yoon and Yang. I think the general consensus is that these are cool characters. People like them a lot, and I wouldn't necessarily disagree, or I wouldn't necessarily agree either. They're kind of just okay for me. Personally, I used Yoon a very tiny amount in Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Didn't really get the hang of him that much. Just on design-wise and personality-wise, they're just okay characters to me. I'd probably put them above Alex, though. I do like Yoon a little bit more than Yang. Abel is, I think, what people might call a wet blanket. He is a. I think his story is that he is a replacement body for Bison. Abel, I think, could have more stuff done with him in the future if he ever came back. Although now that we have Manon, I feel as though he will never come back. Unfortunately, yeah, I feel like they just didn't do enough with him in Street Fighter 4 to kind of get that fan following that many other characters have. But I feel like the potential was there for Abel. So I actually think I would put him in B tier. I would put him above Yoon and Yang. DeCapre, another one of the dolls, and by far not the most interesting doll. Her connection with Cammy makes her a little bit more interesting, but overall, I just don't. She's kind of dumb, to be honest with you. I'd probably put DeCapre in C tier, about here maybe. Gouken's cool. I like Gouken. I think because Capcom is notorious for bringing back characters that should already be dead, does lose points for a lot of their characters because it's like, what does death mean in the Street Fighter series if so many people can just come back from the dead? And Gouken kind of has that same stigma attached to him, unfortunately. But I think he rises above it a little bit. He's Ryu and Ken's master, and he does exude that strength that Akuma also exudes. But instead of being, this total evil badass, he's kind of like, I'm an old master badass. I kind of like Gouken more than Oro if we're talking about old masters. I would probably put Gouken pretty high. I don't love him. I don't, but I do like him a lot. I would probably put Goken at the top of A tier right now. Hakan. I don't hate Hakan like everybody else does, but I think he is dumb. I'd probably put him, and I just don't have much to say about him. He's just an oil wrestler who's red. There, that's where I'll put Hakan. Oni. Oni is Akuma, but cooler. That's all I have to say. The idea of Oni, or Shin Akuma, or whatever you is just, it's Akuma, but more badass, more strong, just ramped up to 10, even more so. Oni is great. I just kind of like regular Akuma more, since he's a what-if character, so that's why it kind of it's some minus points for me. But design-wise, idea-wise, I would say Oni is S tier for me. Rufus. Rufus is totally, I wouldn't say totally uninteresting, but pretty forgettable. I think the only reason people remember Rufus is because Justin Wong mained him in Street Fighter 4. Otherwise, he's just kind of a dumb character, and an example of just jiggle physics in video games in either the exact wrong or the exact right usage of them. That aside, Rufus is still dumb. I'd probably put him right here. Seth is an example of a character who had not much going for him, or them, I guess I should say, in Street Fighter 4, and the total design makeover change they did for them in Street Fighter 5 is like just kind of perfect. I just feel like it kind of elevates the character a little bit more than a lot of other characters have, and just from one game to the next. And it's just kind of great that it's got this female figure with the male voice. It's just it's kind of cool. I kind of like him. So Seth is a character that I feel has kind of come a long way in just the 2 games that they've been in. And for that, I do kind of like Seth quite a bit. Again, I don't use Seth at all, but as a character, I think Seth is pretty cool, and I would probably put them right there in the I like them tier. We have next Sea Viper. She's just a secret agent. That's about all. The only facet to her there is, other than she's also a mother, I think. Okay, you should have done a little bit more with the character, I think, to make them more interesting. And just being a secret agent on its own is just not that interesting to me. I don't really have strong feelings towards Sea Viper at all. I'd probably put her pretty low, to be honest with you. El Fuerte, I used El Fuerte a little bit in Street Fighter 4. Despite that, I don't kind of think he's dumb as a character in general. He's just kind of annoying. Even playing him and kind of tricking people and hitting them with his body press move just felt kind of dumb and just dumb. El Fuerte is just dumb, to be honest. So that's where he goes, in the dumb tier. I'll put him there. No, I'll put him below Bailinken. El Fuerte is just dumb. Jury. I don't like feet like everybody else does, but I like Jury. I like the sadistic personality. Design-wise, as crazy as this might sound, I think I kind of like her biker suit from Street Fighter 5 the most, over her Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 6 designs. Which is the unpopular opinion. I'm sorry. Oh well, that's just gonna have to get used to it. But when it comes to female fighters in the Street Fighter franchise, she is right up there for me, and she is an S tier character. She's like the waifu status kind of thing, except wouldn't be a good waifu, would she? She'd be very hurtful and sadistic. Please don't let me. I would probably put her right there. I love Jury. I don't love feet. Don't get me wrong. Do not misconstrue that at all, please. Thank you. Poison. Poison's just kind of meh for me. I just don't have much to say about her. She's just this hot, sexy woman with a whip. That's all there is to Poison. If you, personality-wise, I just don't think there's much there for me. If I just liked hot women for no reason other than them being hot women, then she'd be an S tier, but she's not. She's just okay, in my opinion. I don't even like her that much, so she goes in this tier. She goes right here for me. Fong. Fong is an unfortunate case. He's a brand new lord, one of the lords of Shadaloo, and just was not received well, unfortunately, because he's just this goofy, dumb guy. I personally don't really hate Fong, but I do kind of agree that he's kind of a dumb character. His silliness just kind of overtook him and just kind of just degraded him to an extent that, yeah, that's just kind of what happened. So he's kind of dumb, to be honest. For me, he's kind of a high dumb because I feel like he had potential, but his crazy personality just kind of overtook him and just made him kind of uninteresting in that respect, unfortunately. So I'm going to put him right here. Kage. Kage is another version of Evil Ryu. I would not say it is Ryu. It is because Kage, if I'm not mistaken, in Japanese means shadow. I kind of see him as the physical manifestation of the Satsui no Haru that lives within Ryu. So he is, in my kind of mind, he is a separate character from Evil Ryu in that regard. So I would probably say, as a character, because he's not technically the same character in my mind, I don't know if it's canonical or not, but I think that makes him more interesting than Evil Ryu. I mean, I feel like G has the same vibes. G is is a physical manifestation of the planet Earth. That's my own headcanon for G. I feel like that's what G is. You can disagree. I don't even know if I strongly believe that. It's just one idea that I had floating around about who G was as a character, as a person, and Kage kind of falls in that same tier. I don't love Kage, and I don't hate him. He is more interesting than Evil Ryu for me, but I don't really like him all that much. So he's gonna go in okay tier, probably. You know what? Right above Evil Ryu, I think is fine. Colleen is so one-dimensional. I feel she's just a subordinate of Urien and the Illuminati and Gil. That's all she was ever, really, and I don't feel like she was expanded that much in Street Fighter V, other than making her playable. Colleen, just not a lot there for me. She's alright, but just, again, there's not a lot to her, in my opinion. I put her above Sea Viper. Okay, we have Laura. Laura is Sean's sister. Laura is not as interesting as Sean to me. Laura has dominated these last few seasons of Street Fighter V, thanks to IDOM, of course, and yet I don't really care for her that much as a character. Has never made that big of an impression on me. The fact that she shares the electricity powers with Blanca, just makes her less unique. I'll be honest with you, I kind of think Laura's kind of dumb as a character. I don't really like her that much. I would not be mad if she never came back to another Street Fighter game. So you're gonna go in the dumb tier, and I'm gonna go put her. Right here. Luke, poor Luke. Luke gets such a bad rap because he's the final character for Street Fighter V, and when everybody wanted something more when Luke was introduced, and they got Luke, which kind of hurts his standing in Street Fighter VI as well. But I think Luke's fine. I don't think he's particularly offensive or that interesting. He does kind of feel like a perfect Ryu successor to me. He's very plain. He's just this, go-getter white dude that does MMA and punches people, and just like Ryu is just some stoic Japanese dude. So I feel like he fits the role much better than someone like Alex did, to be honest with you, as the main character of a series. And I'm interested to see what happens to him in Street Fighter 6. I kind of like Luke at this point, to be honest with you. I'm going to put Luke in the A tier. You know what? No, I'll put him above. I'm going to put him above Balon. I kind of like Luke. He's grown on me a lot. Nikali. I actually really liked Nikali. Unfortunately, Nikali was much more interesting and cool before the story mode for Street Fighter V was released. Yeah, that tribal warrior kind of character was something was a type of fighter that the series hadn't had yet, and I felt like was a great addition. And while he still exudes that energy, he is unfortunately just some weird goop monster. So As a goop monster, I kind of hate that. But as a tribal warrior who feeds off the Satsui no Haru, is what I think a lot of people were assuming he was. He like fed on the evil energy of warriors he defeated. That is a much cooler concept, and that's the concept that is my headcanon for Nikali. I kind of really like Nikali as that, and I hope he gets kind of retconned in the future, to be honest, to be more of that. So he's gonna go here, but of course his actual reputation precedes him, so he doesn't go high here. I like him, but I wish I liked him more. I wish I could like him more. I'm gonna put him right here. Abigail. Abigail's humongously unfulfilled, I feel. Just kind of like some characters, some female characters can just be sexy lady characters, and people might like that. Some people might like Abigail just because he's some huge dude that can flick you with his finger and do massive damage to you. He kind of falls in kind of like that same camp of he's a big muscle dude with no brain, and that's all he ever amounted to, it seems. As is, Abigail's alright. I don't feel that he can get any better from here as a character. I just don't think there's a lot there, unfortunately. I think he belongs in the very bottom of B tier. I like him, but just barely. Falk is another character that I feel they could have done more with, and just didn't hit the right marks for people. It was one of the many newcomers from Season 2 of Street Fighter V that people they were sick of seeing newcomers. They wanted to see old characters. Oh wait, no, she wasn't Season 2, she was Season 3. Oops, I forgot. Anyway, despite that fact, the Neo Shadowloo kind of crew of characters, I don't know if they're going to end up doing anything with them at all. And since Ed's coming back in Street Fighter 6, but the potential is there. But I don't necessarily know if they could do much more with her to make her more interesting. I feel like if they bring any of the other Neo Shadowloo characters other than Ed into Street Fighter 6, I don't think Falk is going to be one of them. I think they're going to do somebody else. Falk's alright, unfortunately. There's just not a whole lot there to like, I feel. Because she wasn't that great competitively either. Falk, for me, is just okay. I'd put her right here. Lucia, fortunately, she has some history with her character. She was in Final Fight 2, I think, Final Fight 2, or 3. She was in one of the Final Fight games. So she's got a little bit more history than a lot of characters. But she didn't seem to resonate with people that much in Street Fighter V, unfortunately. And she didn't really hit any notes for me, unfortunately, either. Lucia's just okay, but she's a little bit more okay than a lot of other characters for me. So she belongs in B tier for me. No, I kind of like her a little bit more than all those characters. I just wish there was more there. I think Lucia, for me, will rank about right here. Manat's a cool character, but she was a fan favorite of plenty of people. Probably one of the best characters to come out of Street Fighter V. I love her design. Her design is great. I actually really like her visual design, but past that, there's not a whole lot to like about her. So for me, Manat's just kind of okay, but she's got a lot going for her, I feel. I'd actually put her pretty high. I'd put her right here. Zeku, probably my least favorite Bushin Ryu character. Zeku's just okay, in my opinion. Just another ninja guy. That's about, for me, that's about all he amounts to, really. I'd put him probably right here. Akira, she's from rival schools, which I have no history with the game series myself, unfortunately, but she's kind of interesting because she exudes this I'm too cool for school kind of character. I don't think she is that character, but she kind of has that energy about her. I kind of like her design too, despite that I don't have much history or knowledge or exposure to Akira. I kind of like her just on those few points alone. So I would probably put her in A tier. Probably here, actually. Ed. Here we go. We have my Street Fighter V main and the character that I've been playing for the last couple of years. Ed and I have a weird relationship. I don't think he's super interesting as a character. He exudes this foul-mouthed, troubled youth kind of asshole kind of character, and past that, there's not much more to him other than the fact that, well, he also has that history, you know, from Street Fighter 4 as well. What they did with him, I don't think it's what anybody expected either. I don't think that necessarily makes him that bad either. Despite the fact that he's my main, I wouldn't give him an S tier. I don't really love Ed that much. I do like him a lot, but he's not in my top level for sure. I would probably put Ed as a character. I would probably put him underneath Ryu and Seth here. Rashid, I don't really like Rashid at all, to be honest with you. I don't really hate him, but I don't really feel that positively about Rashid. And it's weird because he's one character I really don't have an explanation as to why. Because I don't have trouble fighting Rashid. I don't use Rashid in Street Fighter 5, but I don't have trouble. I never feel overwhelmed when I fight a Rashid online. He's just some dude with gadgets and stuff with wind powers. I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say about Rashid because I don't know. He's kind of dumb for me, personally. Maybe he'll be more. Maybe he'll come back in Street Fighter 6 and be cooler. We'll see. I think Rashid goes here. No, you know what? He'll go above. He'll go above Akari. That's where Rashid will live. Shin Akuma, another what-if character, basically. Kind of like Oni. I think Oni's cooler than Shin Akuma, though. I just don't know what to say about Shin Akuma. I don't really care for him over regular Akuna or Oni, to be honest with you, though. I don't really like Shin Akuma. I think the concept of evil Ryu is more interesting than Shin Akuma. So, I think he belongs right here. Now we have a bunch of Street Fighter 1 characters for some reason. Retsu. I mean, do these characters have any personality to speak of? Any history? Anything interesting at all? The answer is no, they do not. That doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. I think that any of these characters could come back and absolutely have a huge makeover in another Street Fighter game. But as they currently stand, they're just some weird dudes, you know? There's not a lot there to them at all. And to be bluntly honest with you, I would kind of put them all in the they're dumb tier right now. Where they currently stand in the game's history. They're all kind of dumb. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And lastly, the Street Fighter 6 newcomers so far. So far, they're all amazing. Street Fighter 6 is hitting so many, is just pumping on so many cylinders with everything, its design, its characters, everything about Street Fighter 6 so far is amazing. As of right now, all of these characters are cool and amazing. That could change depending on what we find about their story and stuff like that in the game. But as of right now, as of this video, they're all cool. I like all of them. Jamie, I actually wouldn't say is S tier. I think Jamie's pretty cool. He's exuding so much personality. He's got the drunken boxing style that Street Fighter's never had, and now it has it. Jamie's just a cool guy. Kimberly is probably my least favorite of the newcomers so far, just because she's a Bushin Ryu, and I don't feel that strongly about the Bushin Ryu characters, except for Maki. I just kind of like Maki because she's been underutilized, but I feel like I just like her. I don't have much to back that up. I just like Maki. But Kimberly doesn't follow that far behind her, to be honest with you. I would probably put Kimberly about right here. Manon, again, she's just a fashion design Lady Gaga-like character who uses judo and is basically the female version of Abel. Probably out of all the characters that have been revealed so far, the newcomers for Street Fighter 6, I'd probably put her. Wait, where did I put Luke? I put Luke right there in A tier. I would probably put her a little bit lower. I like her design visually. I do like her design a lot. But just this fashion design ballet person doesn't really resonate with me that much. I like Manon, but not a bunch, but I wouldn't put her in the I like tier. I'd probably put her, you know, I'll put her right under Luke. Marisa, as I've said in my other video, if you've seen that, I'm on the big lady bandwagon, and I am not going to apologize for that. I love Marisa's design. The fact that she's a jeweler was very surprising. I didn't think that's where they were going with her, but that's fine. You know, that's cool. I'm interested to see what kind of personality she has when the game comes out. And as it currently stands, Marisa is going to be living up here in S tier for me, and I'm going to put her right here. JP is about in the same boat. He exudes this powerful elderly gentleman with psycho power at his disposal. Seemingly, he feels like he's like the successor to psycho power, and he has a much better control of it, in my opinion, because he's much better control of psycho power than Bison ever did, just because he kind of like throws shade at Bison, like in the trailer. At least that's what it seems like he's doing. And he says he was was obsessed with it. Made it seem like he was obsessed with psycho power. That's completely conjecture. We don't know if that's who he was talking about at all in that trailer. Everybody's assuming that right now. And he gets an extra 10 points for being a cat person, and he has a pet cat. So that also puts him immediately in S tier. Also exudes G vibes as well. I'm gonna put him just under G though, because G has a lot more personality and stuff going for him than JP. But since he's got the single or double letter names, just like G and Q does, I don't know, he gives those vibes as well. And that'll do it for my Street Fighter character tier list. Do you agree with any of this list? Do you disagree with it? I'm assuming the answer to that question is a big yes, probably. But whatever, why don't you make your own tier list and tell me who do you like and why do you like them? That's really all this tier list was about. The characters that I like, I love, and that I hate, and the reasons for that. But anyway, that's going to do it for the video today, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. But stay tuned for more videos in the future, and we'll see you next time.